Hey, Coach. I'm so happy you found us. Make sure you subscribe down below, hit the bell up above, leave some comments. We'll always respond to those. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you're looking for resources, if you're looking to become a better basketball coach, if you're looking for that one-stop shop, that roadmap, teachhoops.com down below is the answer for you. Have a great day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Combination Defense Podcast. And yes, Coach Collins is crazy. And yes, this is like my seventh podcast, and probably not my last, but I really want to share some of our secret sauce with combination defenses. And a lot of people in the intro, you could kind of hear that a lot of people refer to this as junk defenses. I'm not a big fan. I will use the word junk defense, especially sometimes in our promotional stuff, but just just so people when they're searching for it can find it. But I don't love that because I don't think it's junk defense. Junk pertains to something that is of no use that we're getting rid of, that we have to use it. And I don't like that. I think it has a negative connotation. And I think some of the best teams, and you can see it in the NBA, you can see it in the NBA finals, people playing a combination defense. So what is a combination defense? It's a mixture of man and zone. So, all of you listening, some of you are man coaches, maybe some of you are zone coaches, maybe some of you play both, maybe you play a man-to-man and a matchup 2-3, whatever it is. There's lots of different defenses out there and lots of different ways of going about it. I'll give you one example. We'll go through over the next several months about this. And if you're once you're done with the podcast, if you like this, I do have a course, combinationdefense.com. I'll put the link down in the show notes too. You're listening to this beginning in November. Won't by Thanksgiving, it's going to be more expensive. So if you want to get in now. But anyway, so some of you are a mixture of them. So what is a good combination, like a box and one, is 4 people playing a zone and 1 person playing a man. That's one example of a combination or a defense. Why do I have them in my playbook? Okay. Why should you think about playing them? And I have a huge course, a very successful course. Hundreds of coaches have bought the Funnel Down Defense course. Why would I just go by that? Why would I need a combination defense? And I'm gonna this week partly I'm gonna go through that, but I'm gonna go through it a little bit later on, and I'm hoping to share all the reasoning, all the things, all the craziness that Coach Collins has behind launching and using the combination defense, not only for my own teams but to share it with you. So just to go through a couple things of what we'll be going over the next couple weeks. We'll be going over the combination defenses. We'll be going over our triangle and 2, our inverted triangle and 2, our diamond and 1, our box and 1, and then some of our special combination defenses, some secret sauces. Some of them, 10X is one of them. We have a 2-date defense. We have ones that, again, use a combination of zone and man, but aren't maybe Main Street as much, and they're a little bit, and they're in the course, but they're a little bit of, you'll have to wait. I don't know when they'll, probably December. I don't know when those will go up. Whenever Coach Collins gets to them. All right. So why do I play combination defense? So I'm going to start this because this is a long topic. I'm going to give you the reason behind it. I'm going to tell you that we've won games, we've won conference championships, we've won state championships, we've won things because of some of these reasons. I'm not going to tell you which ones at this point. I do in the course, but all right. So first of all, changing defenses is a secret sauce. Changing defenses is a golden nugget that I'm giving you right now as a listener to this podcast. It changes pace. It slows. I'll use the funnel down for an example. We sometimes go to funnel down just to speed teams up. We'll go to a combination defense because someone's on fire or we have to stop. I mean, again, where most of us are high school, junior high, youth coaches, and we need to slow the person, the guy, the gal down. And a combination can do that. And we change after someone scores 2 or 3 times against us, we'll change it. We'll go from man to zone or zone to man anyway. This is just an extra little wrinkle to do it. So that's one of the bigs. I'm trying to change momentum. I'm trying to change the flow of the game because I think as a good coach, you definitely want to change the flow. You want to worry about the flow and change the flow. So that's number one. Number two, it's a hard defense to recognize. Couple things. First of all, it's hard to know how to score against it. Which inside the combination defense course, I put some offense in there, some things, ways to score against it. So if someone runs it against you, I also put a tracker, like I set up above. We change and we'll track each possession. So when someone scores 2 or 3 times in a row, we're out and we'll change, not necessarily to a combination vote. And I put my tracker in the course too. But it's hard to recognize. It's hard to know. I just think about when people run a really good matchup zone. It is really hard to know if they're in the matchup or they're in man or what are they doing? Are they switching? Blah, blah, blah. So it's really hard for 3 to 10 possessions, which can be enough to change the momentum of the game to know, hey, they're playing a box and one on it. Box and one maybe is a little bit easier, but it's harder. And I think a huge thing, and I'm again, I put this course out because I just wanted to help people, but it's not seen. You know, you don't practice against it, you don't work against it, you don't see it that often. So the reps and the things in practice aren't necessarily there. You know, kids aren't used to being chased around and denied and those kind of things. And you can definitely see it in the summer and see it in youth and stuff when someone's being chased in a triangle and two. It frustrates them because they don't know. Do I run my man offense? Do I run my zone offense? What offense do I run? Coach, what do I blah blah blah? Do I screen? Do I not screen? They're in zone. They're in man. So it's a defense that is not practiced against and not often seen. Um, so next week I'll go through some more of my whys, what it is, whys. I kind of did this week, and I'm going to expand on some more of my whys and give a little background about why we, as a pretty successful high school basketball program, if I can pat myself in the back for 30 seconds, have used it because it's worked and it's worked for a long time, and like I said, put a lot of trophies in the showcase. So till next week, again, if you like this, combinationdefense.com down below, and I'll put the link down below, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Have a great day, everybody. Hey everybody, welcome to the Combination Defense Podcast, episode 2. People always say I've had a radio, but I don't know. I think I definitely have that deep voice, and I was at a visitation last weekend, and hadn't seen some people for 25, 30 years probably, and they could hear they all turned and they all recognized my voice. It was pretty funny. Anyway, because I have that pretty deep radio Statler brother voice. But anyway, so last week I talked about combination defense. So let me just summarize what we talked about last week. We talked about the combination defense. We talked about it being referred to as a junk defense. We talked about 3 kind of reasons why the combination defense. It's a good way of stopping runs. It's hard to recognize, and people don't practice against it. I 100% agree with all of those. I'm going to expand on the reasoning and why you need the combination defense and why it's good and what's helpful about it. And then I mean, literally, I think 10 years ago, if I'd put this out, people would have gone, "What are you talking about?" But I think nowadays with the NBA, a lot of NBA teams running, you see it in the collegiate level, you see it at the highest high school level for sure. I don't think the sale is quite as hard as it is as good. So again, remember, combination defense is a mixture of that man and zone. So why do you play it? Well, you're already playing man to man. So the implementation of a combination defense is not hard. You have maybe, let's go back to that triangle and 2. You have 2 guys chasing, 3 guys playing the zone. So the 2 guys chasing or denying, you don't have to put a lot of work into those 2. You don't have to spend the time on the help side and the footwork and all those kind of things. You do have to, obviously, depending on the type of triangle and 2 you're running, have to spend some time on that. But You don't have to do it on the other side, and I think that's very helpful. It's a great change of pace. Maybe your team's going really fast, and you need to slow the other team down, or maybe they're going slow and you want to speed them up, and you want to double the ball and double out of your combo defense. It will keep the offense off balance because they're going to have to adjust. They're going to have to think, like I said last week, they're going to have to think: do they want to play man? Do they want to play zone offense? Do they want to screen? Do they not want to screen? What do we do if our two best scorers can't score, and all of a sudden our third, fourth, and fifth best players has to shoot the ball? What am I going to do? So I think those are things that you have to think about. Why we have used it when we can't keep people in front of us. We can't cover the dribble drive or penetration. All of a sudden you have three. Again, there are lots of different combination defenses I will talk about over the next couple of weeks. I'm just grabbing triangle and two. But let's take the triangle and two, for example. You have three guys in the paint, basically, um, protecting. So if you can't cover dribble penetration, you can't cover the dribble drive, but you got two guys that can shoot threes or they can really attack. So you got three playing zone, two playing man. It can kind of help. It can help. You can help in the driver. He'll pass it out to the perimeter for an open 3-point shooter, maybe, but maybe maybe it will be one of the guys. Um, and it can keep guys off the glass. You have people closer to the rim. You have rebounders. Um, and sometimes, and I'm going to tell you this from someone that's coached 700 high school basketball games, wherever I've coached a lot. Switching from man to zone or zone to man just straight up doesn't sometimes slow the momentum, doesn't do what you need it to do. So that I'm just gonna be honest, it just doesn't do it. The good thing is, let's say you're playing a triangle and two. Is somebody so the two guys that are your chasers are chasing them, they shouldn't score, right? And they can, but then they will, maybe, possibly, but they shouldn't score very much. So that leaves number three, number four, number five for the other team having to shoot the ball. Um, that can be hard. You're playing for the conference championship. You're playing to go to the state tournament. All of a sudden, you're the fourth best player has an open shot. Unless they're a hooper, sometimes that can cause problems. It can also frustrate. This is one thing I love. It can frustrate the studs on the other team. They can frustrate their best players. They won't get as many easy looks. They won't get the lane to the rim. They won't get the things that they have gotten. They're being covered. What is it from the Hoosiers, Jimmy Chikowicz or whatever? It's like he's gonna know what kind of gum the chasers are gonna know what kind of gum he's doing. So I just think those are that you don't underestimate the frustrating of the other star player. Don't underestimate the ability to implement this quickly. Don't underestimate the ability to change pace with a combination and junk defense. So what I'm planning on next week is I'm planning on talking some things you need to consider when you're talking about the combination defense. Then the following weeks we'll dive in. We'll start talking about the different nuances and all that. But if you're thinking of a combination defense, you're thinking anything like that, down below, we'll kind of walk you through. We have a course. This is the second week in November. You probably have 4 or 5 days. Otherwise, the price is probably already increased. Uh, sorry if you're listening to this in 3 years from now, but it's a great deal before Thanksgiving, and the prices are going to be going up. So um, next week we'll talk about some considerations, and have a great week, everybody. Bye. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of the combination defense slash junk defense podcast. This is going to be a quick one this week. We just started practice, so Coach Collins feels like his head is going to explode. Anyway, so this is going to be a quick one, and then next week we'll dive in. I think we're either going to dive into 10x, which is a special. I think I'm going to save 10x. I'm going to talk about probably true box in one or triangle and two first. Then we'll drive in. We'll save the specials for later. If you want them, then you got to go buy the course at combinationdefense.com. But some considerations when playing combination defense. Number one, you need your players to talk constantly so no one gets an open look. Duh. I'm going to just say, duh. You should be doing that in every defense. You should be doing that in every offense. You should be communicating. But you want to constantly be talking. You want to know where the two studs are if you're running a triangle and two. You want to know that. You want non-scorers, quote unquote, to shoot. You want non-scorers to attack the rim. So when you're doing this, you can switch successfully from your base defense, man to man, funnel down, whatever it is, to combination defense and back. So I use it as an extra tool. So maybe, and again, I've talked about this, if they score 2 or 3 possessions, we get out of it. But let's say we go from man to zone to combination, back to man, or back to zone and then to man. So I have, what it does is it gives me another bullet in my arsenal, in my gun, to be able to attack. So I want, and again, it's a little bit of a change of pace. Going from zone to man or zone to combo is different. It's a different feel. It will give you a different look as far as that. So those are some things. I really like that for keeping them off balances. Would I play combination defenses for the entire game? Yeah. I have to assume that they're 99% better than me to play it the entire game. I just think that's something you consider. I don't think it is. Um, Even if 1 or 2 players are scoring most of their points, I don't think you want to give 3 through 5 that many good looks. It's meant to play for shorter possessions. It's meant to play for 5 possessions and get out, or 10 possessions and get out. Maybe at the youth level, maybe at the junior high level, maybe at the lower high school level, you could run it for a quarter or maybe even a half. But I think you want to keep it as a change. You want to keep it as a change from your funnel down, from your man to man, from your zone, from your matchup, from your 1-3-1, whatever you're doing. I think you really want to change that specific thing up just enough. And that's just a consideration that you want to think about. Think about how you're changing into these offenses, what you're going to call them, and yeah, I just think those are the considerations you want to get. All right, I'm going to end this one fast this week because, like I said, we just started our season. But next week, I'm going to dive into some of the specific defenses. We'll talk about the movements and the X's and O's and the strengths and weaknesses of some of them. And maybe we can find you one. But if you're thinking of buying it, go down below, combinationdefense.com, and have a great day. Bye.
Hey, Coach, so happy you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe and like. Go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.